Today I have about 5 minutes of movement designed to help with some mobility and some strengthening in your hips. Can help your hips feel better, can also help your knees feel better. Maybe you'll even feel a little bit better in your low back. All the movements are taken standing, and the only prop you need is a block. And if you don't have a yoga block, if you have access to a step or a raised hearth, you'll be all set. Let's warm up a little bit first. Take a breath in and bring those arms overhead. Breathe out into a forward fold. Breathing in, come up to a half lift. Nice long neck. Breathe out to stand. Breathe in those arms up. And breathe out, lower your arms down. 2 more times. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale to stand. Inhale, arms up, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, arms down. 1 more, breath in, arms up. Breath out and fold. Breath in, halfway lift. Breath out, stand. Breathe in and reach, maybe another back bend. Breathe out, arms lower down. Shake out your arms and your legs. Let's do some standing twists. We're going to twist to one side and lift the opposite heel. So twisting to the left, lift your right heel. Just helps take a little bit of the sensation out of your knees as you twist. And keep your arms nice and close to start. And then maybe the arms come a little wider. So we'll get a nice twist in there. We've done some forward folding. We've done a little bit of back bending. And we'll come back to stillness. Next up are hip circles, hip mobility circles. Please feel free to come to a wall or a chair to help with you with your balance, should you need that. And then when you're ready, transfer your weight onto your left leg. Have a little softness in that left knee. We're going to lift the left leg, knee towards the chest. We're going to turn that leg out. Keep it turned out as you send the leg back, and then bring your leg back in. Just keep moving like that. Doesn't matter how big your circles are to start. Doing your best to stand upright instead of folding forward at any point, and keeping your attention on your hip. Can you visualize your thigh bone rotating in the hip socket? All right, you can lower that leg down, maybe shake out the standing leg. We'll do side 2. Standing on the opposite leg, and we'll draw the other leg up. Out, keep it turned out as you send it back, and then you can turn it back in and bring it up. Notice any differences perhaps between one hip and the other. Notice when you turn the leg out, are you adding a twist? Try not to add that twist. See if it's just the leg you can move, keeping your pelvis straight ahead. Ideally, you would take this movement until your legs get tired. But we're also doing a rather short sequence, so you can always pause this or do the entire sequence over again if this wasn't enough of a workout for you. Go ahead and lower that opposite leg down and shake it out. We'll move on to the Psoas Swing. You're going to need something sturdy to stand on. If not a block, a nice thick book, something along those lines. And again, if you would like to be by the wall, that might be appropriate for you. I'm going to start right foot on the block, keeping the left foot down on the ground. We're trying to keep our pelvis level here. So we're straight ahead, but we're going to press down into that block and notice that the left leg lifts. And then check in here and notice if your pelvis is tilted to one side or the other. We want to try to keep it nice and level this way as well. Before we start swinging, I want you to think about that floating leg being really heavy and drifting down. Not doing this, but just allowing. And you just might be adding a little bit more space in that hip socket. So just allowing it to be just nice and heavy, just letting gravity draw it down. Keep the torso still, and then start to swing that floating leg back and forth. Notice your glutes working every time you send your leg back. Maybe you feel your quads working every time you send your leg forward. And you'll want to do this several times. Before you step off, and do pause and just take a moment to see if you notice a difference between one leg and the other. Chances are you will, especially the more you do that swinging sensation. And then we'll do the opposite side. Stepping onto the block, press down through that leg as you let the other leg lift up. Check in with a neutral pelvis, and again, swinging back and forth. Stand up nice and tall. And eventually stepping off. Maybe things feel a little bit more in balance. We're going to do one more thing, and this is to challenge the inner thigh muscles and the outer hip muscles, your adductor muscles and your abductor muscles. So standing comfortably, transfer the weight onto one leg, whichever one you choose, and we're going to take the opposite leg out to the side. Maybe your leg comes out this far, maybe it barely comes out at all. As long as you're feeling some sensation, that's as far as you go. Lower that leg down. You can shake out the standing leg, side 2. You might feel this in the outer hip, you might feel it in the inner thigh. All right, lowering down, a little bit of glute strengthening here. Again, pick a leg to stand on and send the other leg back and back down. If you want to hold there, you could, or have this be more dynamic. Switch legs. And stop. Feel free to take a rest when you're done. That's all for this movement in this video.